5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve.
All right. How's everybody doing? It is a beautiful, hot, sunny Florida day in New York. And look at my hair. I look like fucking Vanilla Ice or something. Wow. I couldn't have done that if I'd have tried, people, but that's okay. It is Friday, and God, I feel good. My neighbors aren't home. I can make noise. So while I'm doing that, before they come home, let me show you something. Check this out. And remember, the fridge is open. There you go, people. A little messing around with my new device of torture and pain, and it has all kinds of stuff. Let's see what we got here. So that was a little unconventional entry for you today. I have a friend of mine who will be joining us shortly. My guest host for the day is the beautiful and talented Brenda B from Pennsylvania. I think I said that right. I really can't get over this wonderful Vanilla Ice haircut that I've got going on. I don't know what happened, but it's frightening, I tell you. So I'm going to go through and give you some of the news. I know a lot of you are probably sick of it. It's been a crazy ass week. Let's see. So what we've got here on the news today. If there's anything good, I'm going to start with that, people. And I say that because there's not typically a whole lot of great news on lately. Let's see. Biden's family starts discussing his exit plan from the race. There's a lot of talk going on that he will be resigning over the weekend. So stand by, be posted. He will be doing something, you can be sure. And we will talk today, but before I get to that, listen, everybody knows who they're going to vote for, whether they're a Republican or Democrat or a communist or a green or whatever all these people are. And I'm just going to say this. This is a safe space for all of you fuckers, okay? Now, I know some of you are going, I don't need any safe space. I'm badass, man. I'm a super Democrat. I'm going to kick some ass. And if you're a Republican, you know, you're going to beat some ass, do some Trump stuff. Here's the deal, people. I will not take a position on what I think here because there's no point to it. Nobody gives a shit. It's like rock stars telling everybody who they ought to vote for. I think they're idiots. Personally, I liked what Kurt Russell said about stardom and fame and politicking. And what he said was, and I paraphrase it roughly, I believe myself as the class clown. As a result of that, I don't ever do anything that will make people watching a movie think of something other than the willful abandonment of disbelief. I added that part to the end because when we watch a movie, you have to suspend. You can't sit there all through the movie like I do and go, hey, look, there's a dolly there's a grip, or there's a plane up in the corner of Braveheart. I see stuff and I notice it, and people don't always see the same thing. I have to rewind it and show them there is indeed a plane in Braveheart, and it's in the battle scene where they're all lined up and got his face painted blue, and they're about to go down and kill a shitload of Brits, which is kind of what we had to do in my town here where I live. We have a lot of revolutionary history. But so they're talking about Biden's exit plan. I have heard last night from some of my contacts that he is going to resign probably tomorrow. And whatever you think about that, if you want to call in and talk about it, if you want to yell about it, don't freak out too much though, because I'll just hang up on you. And this is a place where you can talk, but you cannot scream at each other, beat the shit out of each other, and just terrorize each other. It's bullshit. In the old days, people went and voted. When their party lost, they didn't pitch a hissy fit. They didn't stamp their feet like 2-year-olds. We went on with our lives. And another thing I'm going to say, if you come on my show and you talk about killing anybody, you're out of here fucking forever, man. I don't abide by anybody telling me they think the shooter should have missed. I've had some friends say that. I've cut them some slack, but I don't want to hear any of that crap. It's not, man, we're all Americans, people, whether you like Democrats or Republicans or any other color of the spectrum. It does not matter. We're all Americans, so quit fucking around, people. Vote for who you want. Stop fighting. Don't scream at people. For Christ's sakes, have you ever been yelled at and changed your mind? So I know I'm not going to change anybody's mind here because here's the deal, people. There's about 10 to 12%. The stats say that it's 15 to 20, and I say it's bullshit. There is not 15 to 20% of the American people who don't know who they're voting for. There's some people who might have some kind of learning disorder. They might have some kind of a problem. But in general, no matter what they say, remember, I don't know about you people, but when somebody calls me for a poll, say hypothetically I was a Trump voter, if I get a call and it's a leading type interview where they ask you questions to suss out your level of left, or what do they call it, wokeness, people are allowed to have all kinds of silly notions. They really are. We're all human. We all have stupid things we talk about and believe. Let me know when you'd like a new interview. Wow. Our friend Levi is just reached me on the bat phone. So we have Nashville has a Nazi problem. Jews faced 2 weeks of neo-Nazi invasion. Well, that's just freaking great. All right, people, don't even start about that subject. You start getting down on the Jews and stuff, I'll also get kind of upset with you and I'll ban you instantly. In fact, if you get on anybody because of their race, color, religion, unless they're Islamic, which I say that because they're good one-on-one, but you get a big group of them and they don't seem very happy with us. So take it as you will. That's my opinion. Canada has a new DEI hire. The first woman to lead Canada's armed forces is taking command. And we've had a fault line in Missouri, which once caused a quake. Let's see. Netflix keeps streaming Crown. I don't know what that is. If anybody wants to pop in and tell me what it's all about. And here's a great thing. This makes you feel warm and fuzzy, doesn't it? Costco, my favorite place. I love to run in there with like a wallet full of money and just come back with pallets of shit. Fill my freezer and then have to go back and buy a new freezer to fill it up with shit. My kids would come out when I'd come home from Costco and they'd be like, Dad, what's a Costco? Let's go see. They'd like rummage and pillage through the stacks of stuff. I'd buy things I'd need, like an 80-pound thing of coffee. You put it on your back and you tote it out like Juan Valdez. So they say that there's possible signs of life in the clouds of Venus, okay? And remember, Pluto is circling Uranus, and that's kind of a bad thing. General World War III will start in space. Well, no kidding. Some of these people are in space. We are on the edge of despair with the last never Trumpers. They're having a freak out of magnitude that's off the scale. Security is ramped up, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Is there any good news today? Italian journalist told to pay Meloni 5,000 euros for tweet mocking her height. So apparently the sort of right-wing Italian chick, she's pretty hot, looks good, smart, funny. Apparently she was mocked for her height. She's a rather diminutive stature, and as a result, somebody's yelling at her. We have another kid. This is a sad story. A boy lives in a permanent shade to survive dangerous sunlight. He has some kind of a disorder. If I can get past the stupid ad, come on, close. No, I don't want to do anything. Close. Go away. Apparently, this kid has to go around wearing a hat and a hood on his neck, and he has a disease called xeroderma pigmentosum, a rare disease that affects his skin and eyes. Patients are unable to repair the DNA from solar damage, which puts them at a high risk of developing cancer, which sucks. So there's only 2.3 cases per million live births. So it's not like there's reams of statistics and things like that. At any rate, let's see. We're at about 10:12. I'm going to bring you on, introduce you to our co-host today, and then we're going to go to a break real quick, and we'll get back and we'll talk about all kinds of stuff, and we'll let Brenda can bring us a woman's point of view, as opposed to my toxic masculinity. Isn't that right, people? Where's a toxic masculinity when you need it? Morning, Brenda.
Good morning. Hey.
How are you,
Hi,
babe? Are you up a
everybody.
little early, or are you an early riser?
Oh, I'm an early riser, but I start working right away.
I
And then I go
gotcha.
back to bed.
Yeah, have a little coffee. I haven't even had my coffee today, and as you can tell, I'm alert and ready to jump out of my skin. But that's okay. It's Friday. We're glad you're here. Thank you for coming on with me and
My
helping
pleasure.
talk about what craziness is going on in the world.
There's a
Phew.
lot. There's a lot.
Man, so what do you think about all this craziness going on? Are you is this the weirdest you've ever seen in your life? Because for me, it's certainly the most bizarre series of coincidences, near misses, and just I don't know how to put it. There's fuckery afoot.
Well, Neil, it's insane, but I'm a little bit older than you, and I've lived
Sure.
through a lot of things. I lived through the Kennedy assassination. I lived
My
through
first memory, actually.
well, I was just a baby, but I remember going
Me
to
too.
I was in Catholic school, and they pulled us
Ah,
all into church, and it was a traumatic event. I remember
I'm sure it
George
was.
Wallace. Yeah, and I lived through the Vietnam War. I used to be one of those people that marched for peace. I
Right.
remember the song. What was it? 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me.
Yes.
I don't give a damn. Remember that? Country
Yes.
Joe
It's
and the Fish
Country
was
Joe and
that,
the
right?
Fish. Don't ask me. I don't give a damn. Next stop is Vietnam. And it's
And
1,
it's
2, 3. What are we fighting for? Yeah.
but
Great
yeah,
song,
so
actually.
yeah,
That was on the Woodstock album where they're
is it?
all smoking weed and eating acid. And did you go to Woodstock or anything like that?
No, I'm pretty. I'm pretty straight. As a matter of fact, in those days, I was ruled by an Italian German father, and
Got it.
I didn't go too far. I did get to sneak off and march to a peace rally once in a while, and we had coffee houses.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
marches. It was there was a lot of ways for us um, to to protest, but it wasn't violent. Today, the
It
difference
was
I
way
think is
different. I don't
violent.
remember the hippies burning down huge swaths of cities like Portland, Oregon, and places like that. And I know, look, I make fun of people on both sides. So if you're watching this and you think I'm attacking your pet seal or whatever with a bludgeon and I'm going to kill your baby seal, I'm not. I'm a harmless guy. And I will, however, ask you questions that at times might make you go, I don't know. Because that's what I do all the time. I personally kind of come to the mindset that, first off, you and I agree on, like, war is just fucking crazy. If we spent the amount of money we're spending in Ukraine on the American people, our country would have far better trains. They'd be more like Japan's probably. In other words, they do like 300 miles an hour silently, safely. Have you ever heard of a major train disaster in Japan? Not
Not
often.
really. No.
Not often. I can't recall a single episode, and I'm sure there has been, but none of those 300-mile-an-hour bullet trains are derailing with any regularity. And I think that's just where we put our priorities in the country. It's like, do we help people, veterans? We've let in another 15 million odd people. And I just have the mind that take care of our country really well, keep us strong, but don't go around starting wars around the world. I mean, we've been at war it's our country's pastime after football. Sad to say, but a lot of people support this stuff, and I don't know. I'm not going to get into it too deep, but it's just one of those things that makes me go, the country is all the people who are protesting for peace are out breaking shit, which it's kind of cognitive dissonance in my wee 3 IQ head. I just don't know what to think about it. You know, it's like going up to somebody and saying, "Are you a pacifist?" And they go, "Yes." And you punch them right in the face as hard as you can. See what happens. Some people would take 2 or 3 licks before they finally got mad enough to jack your jaw back. And I don't know.
Unfortunately, you can't do that today, or you'll end up in jail or sued.
Well,
That's a
you know what's crazy is that they let people out for the most heinous of things. You know, you go up and like punch somebody, you get released on no bail release. I
depends who
can't
you
figure
are.
it out.
It depends
What's
who
that?
you are and who your daddy is.
And it depends where you are as well. You're absolutely right. If your
Yes.
daddy's big daddy, you know, you got problems. But you know, I have to say, I don't do a damn thing anybody in the police force has any reason to be interested in what I do. I don't do any wacky drugs. You know, I smoke some weed, it's illegal. I don't drink. I eat well. And I don't know, if a cop pulls behind me in the rear view, regardless of all that, I can look at my speed and it's on cruise control doing 45 in the 45. I still start getting the tingle in my neck. It's just from when I was a young hippie and long hair. And you know, you remember what it was like in the 60s. The cops would pull you over and you had long hair, and it was just like,
Well, we actually coming home from performances, 2 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes we still get pulled over,
oh,
and they want to know why we're out at that hour. And we tell them we just came home from work, and they're like, "Where do you work?"
yeah.
We're performers, and then our car gets searched.
I've literally had them pull us over. I had a big station wagon, one of those Ford Country Squire deals. You could put more equipment in that thing. So there's 4 people in the car, and the whole back end is stuffed, and then the roof's got road cases on it. And we're driving home. And I hate to say it, I was completely blasted drunk out of my mind. And so Ralph, my longtime compadre and sound man, best friend, road manager, all around great guy, he's sitting there, and we pull up to a light, and across from us, there's a cop sitting at the light. And we're right next to the jail in Pinellas Park, Florida. And I start messing with him because I'm sitting in the seat, and I go, "Ralph, that cop's looking at you, man. He's fucking checking you out, dude." And he's going, "Shut the fuck up, Neil." And the light changes on the left lane, and Ralph goes and stops halfway through the intersection. Police immediately turn on their lights, pull us over, and as we're sitting there, Ralph is like so pissed off at me. He's like, "You son of a bitch," you know? And I'm sitting there, I'm babbling, I'm yakking. I look over my shoulder, and there's a cop with a shotgun standing there right in the middle of Pinellas Park. And I'm like, the guy's got a gun over here to the right. And the dude comes up to the window, and he starts giving Ralph a bunch of grief. He goes, "What are you doing? You're going to run through the light like that? Are you drunk?" And Ralph says, "Officer, I have not had one drink tonight." And he didn't. Ralph did not drink. He might have had a beer when we first got there, but he did not drink during the show. And so I'm sitting there when he asks the cop, and I'm drunk and being stupid. And I go, "He's not drunk, but I sure am." And the cop's looking at me. He's like, and the guy behind me with the shotgun takes a couple of steps forward. And I'm like, "Listen, I'm just having fun with you guys. He's not drunk. I am. I'm the town drunk tonight. And he's driving because of me. And we're in a band, and he doesn't drink." They've let us go. He had him out there doing ballerina shit. Ralph was like, I told him, man, he should come up to New York. He could do the little tutu thing and jump around, maybe find a new side of himself he didn't know existed. But that was kind of an interesting event.
Do
They
you
didn't
think
like
they
it.
still do that, Neil? I mean, today things are so different.
Oh,
When
no
I get
kidding.
snapped over, it's by a trooper because I'm up here in the Pocono Mountains right now, and that it seems like there's a lot of troopers. Do you think that the
Right.
system today is still that the same, pull you over and make you do those, I would count backwards and whatever? Yeah.
I'm sober, so I guess I can do it now. But I've had that, you know, I have to tell you, a couple of times I didn't make a habit out of driving like plastered out of my mind or anything. But there's times, I'll admit it, you know, I drove when I probably shouldn't have, legally over the limit, but not out of my mind or anything, just had a little buzz. And I'll tell you, I've had to go through the sobriety test when I was buzzed, and it was terrifying. Lucky I have kind of good reflexes because I do the toe walk and all that crap, hold my foot up while counting. The reason I can count good is because I'm a drummer, man. I can get that count. I do it the exact cadence the guy who reads it to me. 1001, 1002. I was scared to death, man. I was like freaking out, sweating. The cop's like, "You look nervous." I'm like, "Well, you pulled me over." And like you said, at 2 a.m, I don't know about
Yep.
you, but as older I get, nothing good happens after midnight, man. You know, you're out there in the middle of the night. I've seen shootings, I've seen stabbings, I've seen people tased for cause and people tased for fun because a biker wanted to test out his new taser on the Proby. And so this goofy dude is trying to get colors on his back. Guy calls him over and goes, "Come here." Dude walked up, he's like, "Huh?" God, it was awful. The guy hits the floor, he's all twitched out, and he's like, "Why'd you do that to me, man?" The guy's all geeked out. And the biker's like, "I had to see if it worked, Proby." Anyway.
Well, you know, you're right about the at nighttime. Tonight, I'm supposed to go listen to a band, and they're starting at 10 o'clock. Well, since I've hit maturity, I'm in bed at 10 o'clock. Oh, there's Gina.
Absolutely. Increases my paranoia, like looking in my mirror. "Hey, Bill, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you." Good to see you. My friend Bill is the bass player extraordinaire for the killer band Legion of Prague. What a guy. I like him. He's a good dude. And he's newly retired. So you getting used to that laying in bed in the morning, Bill? I hope you are. Pulled over in Highlands after a show. It was detailed. Yeah, I believe it. He was delayed for an hour. Yeah, Highlands cops, they got nothing to do but return dogs, people's house, and you know, there's not much like that they really have to deal with. Highlands, our crime is like drunk couples getting in a beef. You might have like a lost dog. And then you got a bunch of drunks who drive down here for the summer to go to the beach, which is right across the bridge from my house. And I'll tell you, people, here's the Neve and custom 1024 bridge report. If you're coming to Sandy Hook today, people, get on the road now because there's nobody on the bridge backed up yet. And it's 10:24 in the morning. You guys get on down to Jersey while you can. It's a beautiful, hot day. The water is glistening. And come on down and spend some money at some of my friends' stores and in the town, and you know, go to the restaurants and do good stuff like that. And if you want,
isn't it nice to be able to do that now after COVID and being in for so long?
Now the only problem is because of COVID, we have such crazy. All the restaurants that we liked closed. The ones that opened up, some of those have closed, and prices are just so expensive to go out to dinner these days. And I love going out and spending some money and having a nice evening and get served by really good waiters and great food. But Jesus, you know, you got to be like Mick Jagger level to go out and eat a really good deal, a good meal, and not, you know, spend $400 for 4 people. It's insane, but.
Well, it's kind of expensive staying home and having dinner too, Neil.
Well, you know what? You're right. It used to be a bag of groceries would be like $25. Now they're like 50 each. I just went grocery shopping this week, and for the past few years, I'm the cheapest son of a bitch on the planet. And my girlfriend's very good about buying like steaks in bulk and everything in bulk. We got it, freezer stuffed, and I always feel good. Castle Van Erte, we have plenty of good food, and we'd rather eat at home than go out most of the time because we cook better. And you know, I grew up in a restaurant family, so I love to cook. My girlfriend loves to cook, and she can bake, baking requires too much exactitude. I'm more of a throw a pinch and a punch, you know. Here we go. I'd never learned to bake, and it's, you know, it's just not my thing. But listen, we're gonna go take a break, folks. I did blast through the half past the hour, quarter past, but Bill, I'm glad to hear you are retired, enjoying it, man. That is so cool. In fact, we get to hang out now sometime or play some music or something. Great guy. Okay, people, I'm going to tell you we have some brands here we're going to talk about. And my first friend is Carlton Wilkinson, who I'm playing drums with on his new record. Got to give him a call and see where we stand. Donk. I like having that. Somebody's getting nasty on there. I can raise hell with them, you know, make all kinds of weird noises. Commercial, here we go, peeps. Carlton Wilkinson, the longest commercial in Neve history. Don't know why.
There's some changes headed, like the Gulf Stream rising, like some gale that's been blowing off this wild bird door's been opened in the restless shade. Poor man sagging cigarettes, takes the subway home. Rich man folding old regrets, steps on a rundown below.
All right, we're not done yet, people. We still got some stuff to go here because people pay for this, I tell you.
Oh,
We
yeah.
want them to get their stuff.
Hey guys,
Here's a
my
few
name's
of them.
Eli Alger, and I'm here on Live with Neve.
All right, and he is live with Neve, and so is Jack.
Hey there, it's Kevin Sorbo here, and you lucky people, you are live. You're live with Neve or Neve or Neve. I don't know. I can't say the dude's name. Anyway, you're on live with him, so I don't know. I guess that's a pretty good thing.
They sentenced me to 20 years of boredom for trying to change the system from within. I'm coming now, I'm coming to reward them.
All right. The excellent and talented Nancy Kravis, people. She is the best. She can find
I
the
wanted
big
to
crowd
ask
on
you
my
if I could
face.
give her a plug. She's great. She's
She is
awesome,
great.
isn't she? Yeah, you
Absolutely.
got that right. You
She
certainly
is
do.
a great talent. First time I met her, I was giving away something, a conga or some old piece of crap drum or something I had, and I met her. And then about a month later, the band I was in played that song we just heard. I met her husband, but I didn't know it was her husband when we met. We went on break after the show, and I went outside and I saw her come, but I didn't see her husband with her. So we went outside, and my friend Jack, the guitar player, and Danny were standing in the alley smoking a cigarette or doing whatever. And then we dragged him across the street to the bar because we were at a coffee shop. They had no booze. So we went across the street for a couple of whiskeys and then came back. And I have to say, it was our first gig, and the coffee house crowd was used to like a strumming guitar player. And we came in there and we were like loud as hell, played all kinds of Rolling Stones, Tom Petty, but full drums. And I couldn't hear myself sing at all because we had one speaker on the floor aimed down so it wouldn't kill people. So in the meantime, while I'm trying to sing, I can't hear a thing. And I'm glad actually when I saw some of the video from it, I didn't like totally suck. It wasn't the greatest I've ever been. Yeah, Bill, enjoy your retirement, man. It's such a blessing, isn't it? Good for you. My idea of retirement is getting a new job, something I like. I guess this is going to have to do for now. Can I tell you? Making so much millions of dollars, I can't tell you, people. It's great.
Neil,
I have a great.
Can I say one more thing about Nancy?
Absolutely.
You know, I made a post on my Facebook about musicians and the difference between success and not being successful. And I don't know what you think about this, but I think one of the most things that make a musician or anybody in the business successful is their ability to get along with people. And
Absolutely.
I think that Nancy has that personality, that inner beauty that to pull out and make people see her through her art. But
Absolutely.
I think it's her personality too. Just like you know, you when you look at you and I, you don't really see us. You see
This caricature.
yes. But
Yeah,
anyway, I had to say that about Nancy because
When you take off your suit, you're just normal and chill, and you're the
Yep.
girl who likes to take care of animals and build shelters and do all kinds of cool stuff. Which, by the way, people, it's another thing. If you're some kind of animal hater or something, you won't do well here because we'll hunt you down and we will do terrible things to you. We'll put you in our animal shelter, and believe me, it's not fun. You'd rather be at the tombs at Rikers Island, man. I don't like people. If somebody will abuse animals, they will always abuse people. And the people who abuse animals, some of them eventually get to people. There's so much documented psychology of it, and I've studied a bit of it. And I always try to figure out what makes people tick, It's like when I was in sales, I read a ton. I could probably go and pass a psychological boards or something because I've read so much back in the day, took classes, all this crap. And what makes people tick? Some people it's food, some people it's sex, some people making money. There's nothing wrong with making money, but if that's all you do and you shit on your people around you and you make family life, and I confess, I've been guilty of that at times. When I was young, I didn't know any better. And, you do things that you look back sometime. There's not a person alive out there who hasn't at some point done something that they regret or said something. I mean, I've put my foot in my mouth down to the knee a couple of times really bad. But, life goes on. And if you're smart, you learn not to do those same stupid things. I mean, I look back at my life and I'm amazed I'm alive. I'm here. We're talking, having a nice conversation in the morning. We got a couple of our friends are sitting here listening. And through the course of the day, people pop in. And, if you're not having fun, people, whatever you're doing, find something else. Just don't waste your whole life doing some miserable thing you can't stand. I know it's important to make money, but if you want to do something, you can do it. It's up to you because nobody else is going to make you get up and motivate. But, it's a beautiful world out there. Instead of sitting around bitching all day about politics, go outside, get some sun on you, get a little vitamin D. And in fact, I challenge anybody out there. Your life will get better if you do this. For one day or for 2 days this weekend, just try not to say anything negative about anybody. Just try to fucking walk through the weekend, and if somebody pisses you off, you just be stoic about it. That's just so-and-so. And deal with it. Because remember, folks, everybody's talking about, oh, they're depressed, they're miserable, they got this problem, well, quit focusing on your problems. Focus on all the good you've got going on. You got a bed, you got food. I have a couple of friends of mine right now, including my brother and some friends of mine who are just in horrible shape. They're confined to hospitals and beds and nursing homes and all this crap. And you know what? We're all lucky as hell. We're sitting here. It's a Friday morning. We're talking smack, having a good time. We're alive. Neither one of us looks like we're starving, I mean, all you people out there, we're all doing all right. I'm trying to lose weight, man. I've gotten down 7 pounds because I went to the doctor and I weighed my all-time highest weight about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. And I just was like, I got to lose some weight. I mean, can't fit into my svelte jeans. I look like an old, what do they call it? A dad body. That's it.
No body shaming, Deems. Deems. I just called you Deems. When I yell at somebody, it's usually my bandmate. Neil, no body shaming.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
one
Well,
of the
I can imagine James could be a handful,
Yeah, he was. But you know what? Look, can I say something about what you just said? All right. I've known you pretty long now, and I think that you're pretty special. And if you have a couple pounds on or you don't, you're still the same wonderful person. And one of the problems today is people body shame, and we can't do that. We really can't. I've gained 45 pounds myself, and I have a tendency to do what you've been doing, but you are beautiful in your own skin. And
well, thank you very much. I agree with you too. And I'll tell you something, all you women out there who worry about if you're too big or heavy and stuff, let me tell you something. If you got a guy in your life, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't. Guys are simple. We're just like a one-celled organism on some levels. And without women, the whole world would be like, fuck, worse than it is. And I say that because I love women. I think you guys are great. At the same time, guys are guys, and we need a civilizing influence. I really believe that, and I've seen it in action with so many friends of mine who've been like absolute maniacs, and they get married, and they're like, all of a sudden they're totally, you don't hear from them anymore, and I get it. It's quite a challenge raising kids, and I know I'm lucky to have 3 of them into adulthood, and excuse me, and they're taking care of themselves very well. And I can't sit here and beat my chest and say I was the most perfect father, because I wasn't. I did some good things as a dad, but like all of us, if you get married young and you have kids when you're like 19, you have no business having kids at 19. And if you do that, guys and girls, think birth control, man. Just think big diaper full of shit that you got to clean 5 times a day. Or if you got a boy, he's going to piss in your face a few times. It's a job, but it's an adventure. And I love my kids, but now that they're grown up, I can be friends and not have to be their evil dad. It's a challenge. So it's a great thing, though. I suggest anybody, Susan, I'm sorry, but this is not Mandy. This is Brenda B, my morning co-host.
Hi, Susan.
Mandy's got her 2 jobs. She works in a band, so she's kind of tied up a lot. And
Let's give her
we've been
band a
friends
hit.
a long time,
What's her band, Neil?
her band is called Twisted Ginger.
Ginger.
They're
And
good.
is Susan a singer?
She is the singer, and she's very good, and she's funny. And I'll put it this way: she hasn't filed a sexual harassment suit against me yet, so I think we're on good terms.
Well, that's a good thing. Hey, Neil, you were talking about kids. I have a perplexing question I want to ask you. My son, who's a little bit older, is going to listen to musicians at these gigs with headphones, and everybody's dancing with no music. What's that called? Have you seen it? They go.
Well, I've seen people doing that, and it dawned on me that they had headphones in or earbuds, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
What is
it's
it?
like they text each other sitting next to each other rather than talk.
What is that?
And they wonder why some young people have a communication problem. If you look them in the eye, they consider that it's not woke, whatever it is. If I look at somebody, I'm a very direct person. I look in their eyes to see if they're bullshitting me, or if I like them, or if they have joy in their eye. They have a happy. I saw a woman yesterday. I felt sorry for her because her whole visage.
I've seen a couple of them.
Years of that puss. Oh my God. I'm like, what happened? And I know people go through hard times and stuff. But when you see somebody like that, it's like a lifetime of just being that person who's always pissed off. And psychology studies have shown that people can get addicted to the negative feelings of chemicals they have when they fight. And if that's their pattern of fighting, say a couple always fight violently, when they don't, a lot of those marriages last forever because they're addicted to each other's bad hormones that hit you, like flight or fight response. They get that stuff. And
hey, Neil, I can relate to that. We were doing a concert for the Brenda B show for senior citizens, and I had booked the concert myself. It was a Christmas concert, and this older woman wanted to have a different group there. But she had this, and she had one of those faces on the whole performance, and I couldn't stop laughing because we had throw comedy in anyway, yes, and I couldn't stop laughing, and the lady wouldn't take a look off her face.
Those are usually the best gigs, man. The old people. I know. I was in the nursing home when I was all screwed up, and they brought bands then, and senior citizens are funny. When I was in the nursing home, there was an old lady who had hearing aids, live hearing aids. So I noticed that they were the same brand mine were, and I saw she only had one in. Now, prior to this old lady saw me, and she'd be really nice one minute, and then the next minute she'd totally turn. One day she called me a faggot. She goes, "You're a faggot." I looked at her. I said, "What? Do I give off that kind of vibe? Not that there's anything wrong with that. What if I was?" And she goes, "Get the fuck out of here." And then I said, "Jesus, darling." I said, why are you so mad today? What's the matter? I shuffled off. I said, "I love women. You want to go out on a date?" And she's just like, "Fuck you," she says. Anyway.
An older woman said that? A senior citizen?
Yeah, so a couple of days I come back to her, and I had talked to her about her hearing aid when she was in a good mood. And I said, "If your other hearing aid doesn't have a battery, I might have one. I've got the same brand. When I go to my room later, I'll I'll see him. So she said, well, that'll be great. Gina Adams. So am I. We all are. Totally. That's called nuts. I love it. But yes, we are seasoned citizens. That's what I call it. We're getting better, not older. And you are too. I've seen you, girl. You're looking great, Gina. Don't worry about that kind of shit.
The only problem with aging is that your body doesn't go along with your mind.
Absolutely. It doesn't at all. I mean, I used to weigh 160 for like 50 years, and now I'm 62, and I almost hit 200 pounds. I hit like actually it was 201. So now I'm down 7 pounds. I'm actually really thrilled about it because I can put on a couple of pairs of pants I couldn't. But it's not there yet because these suckers are tight. And
you're really into this weight thing, aren't you?
I'm going to work out, man. I have an inversion table so I can do upside down sit-ups. And that's going to rock, man. I'll be ready for the world, man. 60 years old and gravity is taking over. Gravity kills, girl. That's a fact.
For me as a woman, gravity has really taken over. Sometimes you can't tell the difference between my belly and my stomach.
Oh yeah, I know, but you know what? That's what I'd say too. At least I can see myself to go to the men's room. You know, not that bad yet. I'm sorry, people.
Neil. Okay.
Well, remember, we are not FCC regulated, people, so anything can and may happen on the Live with Neve show. Here we are. We're going to get back on the clock for commercials. We're going to run a couple more ads real quick. And it hasn't just been great. It's 10:45. It seems like just yesterday or just this morning you came on, and I can't even believe it's almost 11 o'clock.
Oh, my God. Well,
Isn't that
like
crazy?
Yeah, it's insane. But you know what? The good thing is having commercials with some of the people I know. And I can
Absolutely.
say, I love
do you
her.
know Bill Craig? Do you know Bill?
No,
He's a
I
great
don't
guy.
know Bill. Who's he play with? Who's he perform with?
He's the guy with Legion of Prague. And
Legion of Prague. I'm going to look
great.
them up.
If you want to hear Yes or Journey or Peter Gabriel or things like that, Genesis, these guys just kick ass. Rush, they play it all extremely well. And I'm a real picky bastard, man. They get the arrangements right. They work hard.
The secret. Oh my God, yes.
You know what? They actually practice and don't scream at each other, you know?
Well, you know, that is the whole secret. Getting the arrangement right.
That's it. So we'll be right back. Hold that thought. We're going to the races. Here we go.
See you in a bit.
Hi, this is Leland Sklar, and I am hanging with Neve, and I am having the best time of my life.
Live with Neve Friday.
I'm Neil from Live with Neve. We have an exciting connection for our veterans, country music fans, and there is something for everyone. Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. That's right, we've partnered with Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. See you soon.
Like a melting flake of snow this year. I won't be sad to see it go.
Hi, I'm Darren F. Flynn, a singer-songwriter from Ireland, and I'm on Live with Neve.
I always said it couldn't happen here.
It's from Ireland.
The people we
I'm Neil from Live with Neve. We have an exciting connection for our veterans, country music fans, and there is something for everyone. Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. That's right, we've partnered with Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. See you soon.
Hey, Neil.
All right, all right. So I have something.
Do you have a hat? Wait, do you have a hat from Gone Country Hats so we can see?
I certainly do.
Let's see one. I want to see you in a country hat.
Let's see, where's that hat? Hang on, people. For a moment.
I love hats, especially country hats. I like to wear them, but it makes my head sweat. And sometimes you can see my my line of demarcation. So I wear them hats.
When you go
Oh, let's see
elevator.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Woo!
check it out.
Cowboy. I love it.
It's a little small for my head.
Well,
There you
I
go.
like
That's
to
better.
tip them down a little bit. Yeah,
Tiny bit
that's
small.
great. Yeah.
My cat's coming over. All I can do is whee! Anyway, they do make a great hat. My hat that I like to wear a lot is upstairs, and it's a felt hat. It's like a Clint Black type of hat, if you know what that looks like.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's a great hat, and I like the people who run it.
Get one. You can hook me up with your guy.
I will. I'll hook you up. They're really good people. The hats are fairly priced, and I like them. That's the bottom line. Is I like the people who the way they ran their business. They've hired a bunch of people and are putting them to work all over the country. They go to concerts and sell their hats.
Cool.
Great people. And the guy started out with some other guy who asked him to come along with him to go sell some hats at a concert. He got the idea to start his own company, and I'm guessing he sells 1 million hats.
I love it.
He's out there. He's not as big as Stetson. But they don't cost like what a Stetson costs. I mean, a Stetson hat's $300-400, $500. Just like it's a lot of money to wear for a hat,
Oh, yeah.
And guaranteed, if you see a $500 cowboy hat and you look at mine, which is a nice hat, you will still pick the Stetson every time because the weight when you pick it up and you feel it, it's a great hat. There's a wonderful song by Lyle Lovett. You can kiss my girl, but don't touch my hat.
I'll have to listen to that too.
I can tell from here you got a 6 1/4. I got a 6 7/8. Really funny too.
Hats, right? Yeah, seriously.
We've got some crazy things going on in the world right now. The biggest IT outage in history, Microsoft crash, is wreaking havoc. The fact that we are online right now, people, is amazing and remarkable. There's internet shit going on all over. And look at the headline: World plunged into dark ages. Oh, is that what it is, Gina? Okay, thank you. Well, I don't use that shit. I'm a Mac guy, and I know people hate us. They're all like, "You guys like it's all picky." Truth is, people, I just like the product, man. It works, and I can keep a computer for a longer period of time. Yes, it costs a little more, but I had my laptop for 10 years, a MacBook Pro, and it still can run. I can't update it anymore, so it's kind of useless for me now, but and here's a trick for everybody. If you think you're smart out there, here's a smart trick. It works. Take your old MacBook Professional, install Linux on it. You can run anything you want. Operating system. And you can get all kinds of new stuff, and you have to be a little tech savvy to get it going and working. But you know what? It's a great computer. And I like the fact that you can use it as a bludgeon if you have to. If somebody's going to shoot you, you can hold it up in front of you, Solid, made out of metal. I'm always thinking of a contingency plan, Not that I have anybody else to shoot me.
Where do you think up these things, Neil?
My mind wanders and it sometimes gets a little lost. Look at Bill's the man. He knows. Linux rules. This guy knows way more than I do about computers too. And he says that I trust him very much. It was a security update for a subcontractor. Of course it was. Everybody puts such faith in our institutions, in our tools, in our cars, driving at 100 miles an hour and things like that. For those of you who've done that, occasionally do it. I've allegedly done it. We have no proof or evidence, but could be said I may have done that on occasion. But you learn after a while, because let me tell you, people, you get a ticket for $120, you probably will be hiring a lawyer. Because if you have a ticket over a certain price in New Jersey and in Florida, I've had personal experience, they will take you to jail for doing that speed limit. I actually got, if you go over a certain, it's a mandatory jail stop for you. That police car is back in your rear view. Yeah, I'm getting paranoid, Bill. It's funny, if you look at the background, you can see the top of my head, and I'm going to give a shout out for the place. That is Bulletproof Recording and Rehearsal Studios. Bill and I have a friend here in town who has the same name as my other friend's recording studio. And the guy up north said, why don't you ask him Well, he named the place the same as my studio. I've been in business longer than them. So I'm not going to get in the middle of it, but I am going to ask them if they knew he was there, because they're nice guys. I don't think they did that to screw him up. So we've got some more updates on this. Even knocked out some 9/11 calls. You know, it's funny here in my town, when the power goes out, our cell phones go out because the big tower's up on a mountain and I'm on the side of a mountain. So the cell phone service, if you don't have Verizon up here on the hill, you don't get service. It's just like AT&T running around looking for some bars. It's just a pain in the ass. I don't know what brought that on, but we've got
what we went through this morning. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of what we went through this morning. My phone's dropping calls.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm in my messy bedroom. That's because of the technology and what we're going through today, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sitting here over the weekend. I was on Facebook, and you know how when you get a note that somebody you've known a long time and it says new account, like a person you know, and it all of a sudden says new account. So I clicked on it just for laughs. Now, here's the backstory. I had a friend of mine from high school who reached out to me about 3 years ago. His life had been rather difficult. He had gotten hooked up with methamphetamine, lit himself on fire, had all kinds of problems, medical, physical, mental. Ended up cleaning up, started a little organization to help people who were on meth. And he wrote a book, which I have somewhere in my stuff. It was kind of weird because he found me on Facebook, and it wasn't a kid that I remembered a whole lot about, other than one time in like 1976, we were walking down the hall, and I just moved to Florida. Didn't know what to do with all the rednecks. Had no idea. They didn't know what to do with me either. So I looked at him, and he had he was in the Key Club, which is like Kiwanis Club, and his shirt on the back, his nickname was Guitarzan. He played guitar.
Love it.
But all I could really remember him doing was singing to me and going, "Hey, have you heard this song?" And he goes, "Ring my bell, ring my bell."
I can't get
God,
that either.
fucking hairball. Anyway, that was his nickname. So he reaches out to me, and I was really, I was going to have him on the show. I found he was somewhat inspiring in the fact that shit that he went through was really, really awful. I've seen some crazy things, but this guy lived hard and rough, and he looked it. He'd had a hard time, but he did do a lot of good, and a lot of people. So one day I was doing the show, and the day before I had called him and told him to come on and watch the show, or even come on and talk. And he said, "Well, I can't because I'm going. It's my birthday weekend, and I'm going up to North Carolina to go kayaking." He was a very good kayaker, like professional grade, go down 10-foot drops, and he's a lunatic. They tried to shut down Trump after 90 minutes. Oh, that's right. That is a Ray Stevens tune. Good job, Bill. Another thing about Bill is he is the master of music. He is a fountain of wisdom, and he also has a page. Bill, pimp your page, man. Give us your. I just look for you, and if I want to know something about rock and roll, I'll call you up. I'm kidding. But he has a
Tell
great.
Bill to friend me. Tell Bill to friend me. The Brenda B show.
Yeah,
Tell him to friend
definitely.
me. You can share
It's
it.
Brenda B in the Brenda B show.
Yeah, tell him to friend me. But anyway, Ray Stevens. What was his tune that he's talking about?
He's talking about Prague. It's called PRO. Hold on, I'm going to put it up there. Prague, exclamation part, Paganda. Propaganda, I like it, on YouTube.
Clever, playing words.
Good. And his show is excellent. I mean, if you want to get down to the real nitty gritty of like bands and the details between what show and when they recorded, and I'm reading a quote, Susan. Yeah, I heard that at the Home Run Derby. This chick singing the. Let me tell you something. I've done shows stoned and drunk many times, and I never sang like her, not once. I don't know if are you familiar with what we're talking about, Brenda? This girl sang over the weekend last weekend, and she was so god awful.
And you know, I really felt sorry for her. Now
I
you know
did too.
I
I felt the
pitied
same way. I was just like,
the
what a
public
mess.
is mean sometimes.
Oh
They're
man,
mean
I felt
sometimes.
inside. If it was me standing there, I've been in my life, I've
Ah,
had it happen once or twice, and not a long time ago. And when I was a kid and it happened, a bunch of people started throwing crap at us. I just felt like this big. I was like 14. My first band wasn't ready to go out. We went out anyway. But you get through it and you learn how to deal with it. And I actually like hecklers now. They're fun. They're meat on my table, man.
I don't like them. They're mean. You know what?
You just
But
gotta,
but
you have to just be funny with them. Like I have some hacker, you say to him, my wife says that about me all the time. What are you get in line with her? Whatever.
well,
You just
it's just I know, but let can I say something? I don't know if everybody knows me, but my name is Brenda B. I work for marketer and promoter for a record label. Anybody can sing the national anthem. All they have
No.
to do is connect with the right person, send a clip and bio in, and they're on. That anybody can do it. Here's the
Yeah.
thing, Neil. The people can be really mean because you never know what happens in people's life. Who knows if that girl had a loss from somebody?
Oh,
I mean,
we have no
people
way
just
of knowing. And
crucify
any of us who
people.
are in entertainment, I find most people who are entertainment who are any good, they don't shit on other entertainers, even if they're not very good. It's just bad form. If you're gonna do something, mentor somebody, help them out. Don't be an ass, you know.
Oh, you should
If I
see the
wasn't
comments.
so lucky in my life with so many great friends and people who've
Ah,
taken the time. This show we're watching right now, if you look at this roof behind me, a friend of mine runs a theater house down in Maryland, and he's the stage director of this whole big theater that's been there 100 years or so. And when I did my first show, one of my first shows, I didn't have StreamYard or anything. I just did it on Facebook. I could not figure out how to get this backdrop on. I was losing my mind over it, trying to figure out how to get a backdrop up. He showed me how to do it, and it just made it was like I thanked him profusely because I really didn't know what I was doing. I still don't really know what I'm doing, but it just sort of works itself out, you know.
it looks awesome. It looks absolutely awesome. It really is a
Well,
great,
thank you.
great
That's very
backdrop.
nice. You know, we just here to have some fun, and ultimately that's really what the show's about. You know, someday, it's not great. Some days it's awful. Some days it's super great, and the best thing since toast. But I find it's just really about the attitude. Everybody who comes on, I've been lucky. Almost all of the guests are really good people. I've had one or two guests who, looking back on it now, I really feel sorry for a couple of them. I didn't know their circumstances at the time, and I won't go into it, but I had a guest who's very, very talented, just unbelievably, but just has so many substance abuse issues that it's a mess. And I feel bad for him because he could be out on the national tour, but he's just won't give up the booze and the drugs. And, you know, I'm not talking about smoking weed or having a couple of beers. I'm talking about like anything goes, anytime, anywhere. And he wonders why he's not getting ahead. And I hate to tell him, man, he's not in a practice room rehearsing all day. He's sitting around on his ass drinking and just jabbering on the internet. And
Can I say something about that?
Sure.
A lot of the performers that I've dealt with have had abuses and substance
Sure.
abuse. And my background is social work, drug and alcohol counseling and certification. I
Right.
think that people are not as have been subjected to so much in their lives. Sometimes they can't get out of things. And
Absolutely.
and
You know, substance abuse, I don't wish that on anyone because I've been through it, and it's really hard to quit drinking if you're an alcoholic or drug addict. I mean, it's terrible too. And some people, you just can't save them. Unfortunately, we try. You can do so much, but it comes down to somebody has to just make that decision in their heart and turn the switch because it's hard. I mean,
well, there are programs out there for free. There's Al-Anon, AA, NA,
absolutely.
Ar-Anon.
Mhm.
There's so many programs, but the thing is, people sometimes get into themselves, and it's so much like right now. I have to tell you, I have been depressed about
Sure.
the things that have been going on in the world.
Right.
It has taken a toll on me mentally, psychologically, and physically. I have to have a tasty cake every time. Plug for tasty cake. I read
Yeah.
some of these articles. So
I know exactly what you go through because I eat emotionally all the time just because I can't drink and I love sugar. You know, if I go to New York and I go buy one of those fancy cupcake stores, I
yeah,
can't just go in and buy one. They're $5 a piece. I got to go in and buy 4 of them, and then take them on the boat back home. But then
yeah.
what happens is in the middle of the night, I'll get up and I'll eat like all 4 of them. And the next morning, my girlfriend, she goes, "Did you eat all those cupcakes?" Yeah.
She's probably mad you hate them, but we all have our vices, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the same thing about this poor girl that sang the national anthem. I
Oh,
think that people are judgmental sometimes, and they can really, if people pay attention to other people, that will hurt them. My thing is, it's about me and how I feel about the world, and
sure.
there's nobody that makes any difference but me, because if I listen to some of these things, I'm not going to like me. I'm going to be upset because I have the double chin. I'm going to be upset because I ate that bonbon. You know, it's I don't know. What do you think, Neil? You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Well, I think everybody right now, I think humanity in general, there's a malaise, as they used to say in the 70s, that's infected people on all the continents. We have this mass immigration from the Middle East and various countries. And I'm not trying to, the bottom line is some people don't want to come somewhere and assimilate. They'd rather go there and change it into their own neighborhood. And that's happening. And unfortunately, a lot of people get hurt in that. What I always say is we have enough laws, just enforce them. And I still feel that way. I really do. There's nothing we can do perfectly in terms of law. Law is a science, but it's an art as well, because you think about how people's mind, I could say something to you and you might just see it 180 degrees out of phase. And no matter how well I had my data organized, or if you had yours, we would just sit there if we were really dogmatic people. I'll listen to anybody though. Like I love listening to somebody who disagrees with me, because you know what? They might change my mind. And if they can, I'm open to listening. I think most people who are somewhat bright go to this thing and they say, look, I don't know everything. I know a lot, or I know a little, but I can always learn some more. And that's the problem. Most people aren't teachable. We all sit here and think, but I'll tell you what, I beg people for knowledge all the time. I've actually had clients that I went and sold my Muzak systems to because I wanted to get next to them and talk to them, become their friend, learn what they're doing sales-wise that I'm not doing. Because everything in life, man, you better sell yourself, because life's all about sales. Every time you're out talking to somebody, or I'm here on the show, which, by the way, we're at 11:05. We're a little over. And I want to just tell this brief story. It's okay. No, it's good. I don't mind. That's a good thing about having your own show, right? You know that. Sometimes you can just say, well, screw it. I'm going to let it go a little. I'll play another ad for a couple of my friends. I have a friend of mine. I started to tell you the story about him kayaking. Well, the day before I spoke to him, it was his birthday on Saturday, and I spoke to him on Friday. He was driving up to North Carolina from Florida. He went alone, and he parked his car. He had a Mercedes with a tow rig for his kayaks. He had like 3 kayaks on it. Really into it. And he went down this, I forget, level 4, I believe is what it was. I'm not positive. I don't do that sport. I don't like broken bones. He went down the river. He flipped and he drowned.
Wow.
Horrible. He was about my age, just turning 60, somewhere around there. And so I'm trying to find it. Bear with me, peeps. I'm going to see if I can find it. It was quite funny, my response to her, I think. Oh, hold on. I got to be in Neil Van Erty, my own. Okay, this should be a message. So I get a message that he has a new account. And immediately I went, some asshole cloned his account. He's trying to call all of his friends. So I was the first one that responded to it. I acted really coy at first. Hey, man, how you doing? What's going on? How's things up in heaven? And then I said, you know, I know you're not Dwight, whatever the hell his name was. I'm sorry, draw mind blank. Any rate, I said, he died 3 years ago, you fucking mook. I left him a message and I said, you guys are really stupid. I said, this guy's been dead 3 years, you fucking idiots. And I just railed into him, man. I tore him to shit shreds. And then it's such a weird coincidence. I guess his mom saw that somebody logged on. Dale Garrett, that's his name. It took me a second. And I know if my son was passed away and I saw a new picture with his pages, pictures, and all of his shit. And so she apparently saw my response and cracked up. She was at home and listened to me scorching this person. I wanted to find it because I wanted to play it. I thought it was rather amusing. I guess on break between now and this afternoon, I'll have to try and track it down. But it was hysterically funny. And they just went away. They haven't bothered to come back. But I was hoping I'd at least get an FU out of them or something. Yeah, you know, Susan, you are going through a lot, but you know what? You're older, you have common sense, and you've lived life. You know how to deal with things. You know, the older we get, the better we are, the more strengths we have in that respect, I think. I mean, I know myself as a young guy, I did a lot of just young guy shit, you know. The problem a lot of people have is they get older and they think nobody knows, or they think that, you know, nobody remembers. I remember all the time, and I was drunk for a lot of part of my life, but I still remember most of the stupid shit I did. I wasn't ever blackout and not knowing what I was doing. I was just being stupid and drunk. I'm not one of those aggressive handling drunks. You know, I don't get in fights with people and shit. I'll haul ass. I'm a flight or fight kind of a guy. I'll try and, you know, flight first, but provoked, you know, I'm a drummer. Do not provoke the drummer, man. They bite sometimes. They just had a guy once whip a shot glass at me because I'd taken his girlfriend out. I didn't know it was his girlfriend. And the guy was up on the balcony, and I was about 28. And my band heard it. It hit me in the head, and I got a little cut on my forehead. And what did I do? Turned into drummer monkey, man. I jumped off the kit, ran up the truss, jumped into the balcony, and chased him out the front door of the bar. As he ran out the bar, the bouncers grabbed him, and then the police and the bouncers gave him a little bit of a tune-up, as they would say in the business. I'm like bleeding. That was like the extent of my rage over the 20, 50 years or whatever I've been doing this. It's really, I'm 62 years old, so I've been doing this at least 50-something years. So I started playing around 7 or 8, and I just got lucky. It was in the right place at the right time. You know, I badgered a drum store or music store in our town, which I used to think was this big music store. It's about as wide as my studio now. When I go back up there, I look at it, I go, God, that's where it all began. I went in and harassed the guy on my paper route. He was one of my customers. I'd go in every day and say, hey, I'll give you your papers for free if I can get drum lessons. You trade it out. And after about 100 tries, they finally said yes. And I ended up in the right place and had a lot of good times with that family. You know, they were a musical family, and their son went off to school, and they were like, well, he's like the best of the shitty drummer kids we got, so we'll drag him in and see what we can do with him. So I got to play like at a young age, and I realized, man, this is way better than fucking hanging papers on people's door in the rain and the snow. You know, it was a fucking job. Have your bicycle and the big snorkel parka thing on, riding in the snow. But you know, you learn things. Like you learn if somebody doesn't pay you, you got to go collect. My mom was such a diligent mom. Occasionally she would ride up in the car on a Sunday and tell me, like, Mrs. Jones has been calling, hasn't had her paper in a month. And I said, when she calls back, tell her she comes up with some cash, I'll drop her paper off. But she hasn't paid me in a month. So she owes me like $4 or $3 or whatever it was. But anyhow, everybody, we're going to get out of here.
Wait, can I just say one thing to Susan about her remark? Susan, you say you're going through a lot regarding your husband's health and went and turned to drugs or alcohol. First of all, we can never tell what one person would do. I mean, in all respect to you, we cannot tell what anybody would do. But if you have a drug or alcohol problem, or you're involved with somebody that does, go to Al-Anon and realize that the only person in your life that you can change is yourself.
Eugene doesn't have any problems with that kind of a thing. He's got cancer, and
but I
unfortunately.
know, but the only thing people do not realize that the only control that they have is of their self. So how we relate to things is all about us. I mean, we
Right.
can never tell what somebody else is going to do. We can only tell what we would do, Neil. And that's, one of the things that's my biggest concern in life is me and how I react to the world. But anyway, and about you were talking about work, about self and everything. I respect that. We have to work and be respectful of ourselves.
It's work gives people meaning in their life, and if you don't have something you really enjoy doing, it's hell. I mean, I used to love my job as a salesman a lot, but I have to say, do I want to go out? Even though I made great, I mean, I was licensed to steal when I worked at Muzak in the 80s and 90s. I mean, it was good product, lots of building boom going on. And I love my job, but I have to tell you, looking back at it now, getting up every morning, getting on the boat, going into New York City 3 days a week to go bang on doors at appointments. I'd have 2 appointments a day, and then I would go out and I'd try to do 20 cold calls, which is really hard, but I would always get 10. And if I was feeling like, if something happened, if our accountant called and said a big check came in from something I sold like a year ago, like a big job that, Marriott 4 stories. I'm like, the guy would call me. He's like, Neil, when you get home today, man, you're going to love your paycheck. And I go, really? His name was Francois. And I'd be like, Francois, don't make me sit here and I want to know how much is it? What job is it? And he's like, well, you got 40 grand in the bank. And I went, he's like, holy shit, man. It was a truly life-changing deal, I mean,
I want to work for that company.
Unfortunately, Muzak was bought by a Canadian company, and they looted the assets, sucked all the money and life out of it, and poof, they made it Mood Media. And at the time, I thought I was going to be employed with Mood Media because I already knew about a month before everything went down, because I have a lot of people at corporate I knew, and they'd whisper in my ear that things were getting shaky. And then I said, well, what about me? Like, where do I stand in this? So you're talking about being focused on me, and my life matters, man. What's going to happen? And I remember being told, you're fucking bulletproof, man. Your numbers are like, 100 grand a month, sometimes more. And he told me, you're like responsible for all of North Jersey's sales this past year or so. And I was like, yeah, driving my bad car around thinking I'm the shit. I get called into the office the next day. Booyah! Blasted out into the abyss. I was like, okay. I had a job the next day with our biggest competitor. I was like, I'm out of here. And they knew me. The worst part was the company in Philly that had also been an independent gets bought out, and I end up working for the guy who I took his job.
No.
And I hated him. He hated me. And then what came down to it at the end was I had to literally tell him, don't you ever call my house again. In fact, I'm going to call your boss. And by the way, did you know they offered me your job? And my friend at the time, my girlfriend, sitting on the couch, and she goes, did you just quit your job? Because it was after the whiskey hour, like 10 o'clock, and he wanted me to send in my call report. And I just went to him. I went, bitch, don't you ever call me again. I'm not feeling the love. I said, I'm the only guy who sold anything all summer. And I'm going to go and get your old job back. I'm going to go take it. And you're going to have to sell against me, you fucking prick. And I said, I'm going to beat you so fucking down the pole, you're not even going to want to show your face at the next, meeting of all the music companies. And he was having a fit, man. He was one of those guys who's like Mr. Monk. He was ADD, and I drove him crazy because I am so ADD, man. I'm out in the zone. But I don't sit and put things in like perfect order. I'm more of a random kind of a guy. And he told me that I didn't give him my call report. And I just said, I put in over $350,000 in sales in the past 3 months, and not one of these new guys you've hired has hired one sale. So you're fucking with the wrong guy, and I'm going to call your boss right now. You go fuck yourself. And I hung up on him, and I called his boss up. And I said, hey, I left him a message. I said, I hate to tell you this, but from now on, I'm going to work. I'm leaving. I'm going across the street, buddy. I said, I'm just not feeling the love. And I hung up the phone. It's like 10:30.
I've done that, Neil. I've done
And he
that. But
called
you
me
know
back.
what? I've done it.
You know what happened? I've just
What?
got to tell the story because it was great.
What happened?
The guy calls me back. He goes, what's the matter? And I said, man, I've been selling my ass off. And fucking John is calling me on a Friday night at 10 o'clock, giving me shit about his stupid call charts he gives to those morons he hires who like sold laundry. I have a degree in audio engineering. These fucking guys aren't even close. And I said, I don't feel the love. He goes, well, what do you want? He goes, you want John's job? I went, oh God, no. I don't want to be a sales manager of these idiots. I just want to be me, run wild and free and make lots of money. That's all I want. I want to talk to anybody. I don't want to come to meetings. I just want to go sell. And then he goes, well, that's easy enough. You can do that. He goes, you don't have to talk to him anymore. I said, and on top of that, I want another $200 on my car allowance, and I want my commission raised by 5 points for anything over $100,000. And he's like, what? And I said, that's it. Or I'm going across the street, man. You know I can sell. He goes, you're not going anywhere, man. That's easy. He said, sure. And so I stayed with him until I found something that was more interesting to my sense of style and sensibility. Working for the Philly outfit was just too much. I didn't like the style, I'll put it that way.
Well, you know what? Your story is really incredible because it goes to the point that no matter when one door shuts, another door opens. And
you got to always be looking though. If people have to,
you got to know yourself though. You knew yourself. You knew your capabilities. You knew your strengths, and you knew your weaknesses.
And I also knew that I didn't want to manage people because I made more money than my boss did all the time.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not about money, though, is it?
Oh, in his case, it was all about power. He cost me $600,000 deal once, which is a lot of money. That's like send your kids, get 3 to college, a good college, you know?
Sounds like my ex-husband.
It was Jersey Mike Subs. First day, he told me he was going to go on the call with me after I'd spent months grooming this deal. 600 locations at the time. I don't even know how many they have now. Had all their music signed. I was going to sign and close the deal. He gets hired a week before, insists on going with me to the sales call. I go to the sales call. He's dressed in brown polyester pants with like Dollar General shoes, and he's got a shirt on with a pocket protector that had like something funny on it. It was like snakeskin or something, so he thought he was cool. I get out of the car. I'm in a black Armani suit. Cost more than his fucking car did. And I'm not trying to say that. I went to the thrift store to buy it. I literally had it tailored, but I went to a thrift store to buy this really expensive suit. Because when I got here, I didn't have any money. And I know that you don't want to go in looking like he did in New York City. Because I got to go in and talk to people who have millions and gazillions of dollars, and they look at you like you're a bum. So, you know, there's 2 theories. Go in and look like you're a poor salesman, or go in and who do you want to do business with? Some guy who looks like a Columbo, or you want to go with the guy who's got a Jag, freaking Armani suit, pair of good shoes, you know, the O.J. Simpson model. You go in there and you talk.
It's a shame, isn't it? It's not right. It's not right. It's a shame.
So we went in and he tried to add to the sale another like $500,000 worth of shit. And after, here's the money quote. After he left, I was so pissed off. I was ready to strangle him. And my friend who I'd been out partying with, we were out, you know, goofing around, going to bars and doing all kinds of shit. He goes, that's your boss? And I went, yeah, we all have our cross to bear, you know? But I didn't get the job. And after that happened, I had a vendetta against him, but it was a very silent. I believe in letting time pass. The Italians would say, revenge is a dish best eaten cold. So
Neil, you know what? You put me on here for a woman's perspective. Everything you said deals with society today as the way we judge people. And I've had to do the same thing. If you look back at Michael Jordan with Nike, when he was coming out, Michael Jordan did not want to go with Nike initially. He was looking for one of the other companies. But Nike, the smaller company at the time, gave him what he needed. So, I mean, again, if he had not taken a chance with that smaller company and those, but you got to go through life and get what you needed. And I
Well, you
bet
know
you
what?
left
It's
that
an
company
adventure.
after that. They lost you,
But
didn't they? They lost you, right?
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
It goes back to respect and boundaries. But you're really cool because you can share that. I have a hard time talking about those type of jobs I had because I've been through the same thing with you. You know,
Well,
I've had
there's a lot of
bars,
crazy
boots,
people
and
out there,
jobs.
and sometimes people just like authenticity. You know, I'm not perfectly polished, even in a damn great suit, but I know people and I understand them, and I try to be the best salesman they've ever had, which means not like stuffing it down their throat. I just act like I don't need the business. What do you need? If I can help you, I will, and if I can't, it's okay. I'm not gonna. If you don't buy from me, I got somebody else will buy. I got another 10 calls to do, and I never
Well,
got. That was the one thing that being taught by somebody and mentored really well, and he made sure that salespeople felt good about themselves. Because a lot of salespeople think shitty about themselves because everybody disses on them all day. Get out of here, go screw yourself. I've been heckled to the point where I had no feelings left whatsoever. But my sense of humor, I've always turned it back on people. And I've gotten deals by saying sometimes fairly smart ass comment back. But like I had a lawyer once ask me if I could speak English. I said, no, but I know a couple of Silesian and Slobovian dialects. I can speak those and write them. And he cracked up. He goes, Slobovian. He goes, okay, what are you selling? And I told him. And his receptionist, who I'd brought bagels to a couple times, was smiling. And she got me the gig, without a doubt. Because he goes, well, what'd you bring us? I said, I brought you some good bagels. I don't do the Dunkin' Donuts shit, buddy. He goes over and looks at the box. He was like, oh, these look great, And I left. I said, here's my card if you need something. About a month later, I got a call back, and I eventually got a deal out of him. Not a big deal, just a little music system in his office. But, if you don't take small deals, big ones aren't going to come. That's low-hanging fruit, man,
Well, you know what, Neil? I think that for me, I can share my own personal things. I lost my voice to COVID, and my show. And
Right.
people will say to me, like, my partner is the best bassist and the best singer ever. And he's not
Right.
doing it anymore because he can't deal with it. But the bottom line is if we put I got more performances, more
Yeah.
concerts, and
Well,
more
but you hustle. You've been
accolades
in real
after I got
estate and you've
COVID.
done things. I mean, you're natural, and that's,
No,
I'm
but
not
it's about people. It's about love. It's about care. It's about your audience. You
know
have
what?
such
It's also
a fine
about
on that.
respecting your clients, your person
He's
you're
your
selling,
client.
respect them and treat them
Yeah.
with the respect they're due. You're asking them for money. Do
Yep.
what you have to do to get the deal. And any rate, listen, we can talk all day and I love it. You did a great job today. Thanks for coming on.
Thank
For
you for
everybody
having me.
watching, I will be calling you again. I'll talk to you later. And for everybody watching, we're out of here, but let's see. Once again, I've been trying to get our new house band on. They want too much money, but I'm going to leave you with Fulu Muziki, and I hope you all have a Fulu Muziki weekend and full of fun. And for my friend Bill, this is the shit, my friend. This is some serious recording technology at work. All right, everybody. The talents of Fulu Muziki. We'll see you at 4:00 today, live with Neve. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.